Hello everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Hey everybody, Cantonese Cat. How are ya? Gonna go for Bitcoin, MSTR, Coinbase, and a lot of the miners you guys are requesting. I'm gonna go through them real quick. I say that every time, but it ends up turning to be like 30 or 40 minute video anyway. But for real this time. So this is the daily Gantt square that I've drawn for Bitcoin, with the bottom being the pivot in January 2024. As you can see, it has respected all these Gantt arcs here religiously, right? Broke through this Gantt arc after almost the entire year getting stuck between these two levels. And the rest is history, right? Backtested arc went up a lot higher. Didn't even really see this arc as anything, just kind of pushed right through like it's butter. Got up to this arc up here. What are we doing so far? Well, over the last few weeks, we've been just kind of pushing and pushing and pushing, and now we are maybe pushing through this arc over here. Right now, if this week closes where it is right now, it would be above the arc, right? Last week, we actually have a weekly close above the arc, so maybe this is the second week closing above the arc. I don't want to jinx it. It could very well close back above, or close up below, and maybe hit this angle over here, maybe even hit the bottom of the arc over here. You can do anything it wants to do is Bitcoin, and we still have another day. But if it ends up hitting and closing right around here, that means we have two consecutive weeks closing above the arc. And that could mean that I might need to draw a new arc, because it would go up to the next arc, and I don't really have a next arc here. Now, with that said, does it really fit other time frames I'm looking at? Does it fit my weekly time frame that I'm looking at? Yes, it does, actually. I find the current state over here to be very similar to the state over here, where you have a few candles that didn't really quite make it to the arc. If you're wondering why I'm not being on live stream this weekend, is because I keep getting phone calls like that, and it just keeps disrupting me. I just cannot keep doing that over and over again. So I'm just going to make a video whenever I pause, I can pause. But yeah, I was talking about the weekly Gantt here. It is very, very similar to the daily Gantt, because what is really showing the daily Gantt has gotten outside the arc. The weekly Gantt is really very similar morphology over here compared to over here, where it spent a few weeks burning up a lot of energy, trying to push through into the arc. In addition to pushing through the arc, it's also trying to push through a very important FIB level, 0.618. Here, what we're doing, we're building up energy, trying to push through the arc here above to get to 6 figures, which we finally did. And as we do, there's a lot of wicks underneath, so this is actually a pretty powerful structure here, very similar to over here, right? It looks like it wants to push through into the arc, and it looks like it wants to push through finally after we got rejected here 2 weeks ago at the 1.272 FIB level, which is a very important FIB level, around 103,000. If we're able to push through that and get to the top of the arc here and close a week or two above this FIB level on the upper part of this arc over here, then you're talking about continuation of a bull trend. I see there's a potential for this to get stuck here for a few weeks, and there's a potential for things to kind of rotate over once we get above the 103K, for things to kind of rotate over from Bitcoin to maybe some altcoins before further bullish continuation up to the Gantt level up here around 120,000 or 127,000. But you might need some consolidation over here, trying to push through the zone over here to kind of push up. Whenever price got up here, I was like, I think price is going to end up getting stuck here for a while. And that happened when I was on vacation. I remember I was like in a car, I was trying to get somewhere, and I was looking and I was like, yeah, I don't know, it hits the arc here finally, but it's probably going consolidating sideways here for a few weeks, and it's doing exactly that. So I'm not going to say that I'm right, I'm wrong, I don't really care. But going back here to the monthly, what is it doing on the monthly? On the monthly, none of this really matters. On the monthly, it is bounced from this arc over here, kind of like how it bounced from arc over here. So naturally, it's kind of going to want to hit the top arc here, or at least get close to the arc here above, right? And that's kind of exactly where it might be going here, which is going to be the arc up here above, which is going to be around 200,000. That could be the cycle ender. It could go up a lot higher, surprise everybody, but I really do think the cycle ender maybe at 200,000, or at least close to 200,000, right? Somewhere around there would be kind of what I'm thinking. If we do a fib level, maybe it stops short of it. Maybe it ends up stopping at a 1.618 lock fib level of $173 and $779. It's it's entirely possible, but I just think it's got enough juice to kind of keep going up. Also think that it's probably got enough juice to really try to truly expand the Bollinger Band all the way down to the negatives, and probably sometimes all it takes is just maybe like one or two big giant candles that really shock everybody. And I think every single time Bitcoin has a bull market, it tends to do that. I don't see why this time would be different. If you think this time is different, usually it's not a very good statement to make, right? All right, let's get to some of the really quick things here. MSTR, what do I think of MSTR? I think MSTR is, I wouldn't say like any signs of exhaustion, but I do think that MSTR probably needs to kind of cool off here a little bit. It's a little bit way outside the upper Bollinger Band here. Price action simply got really impulsive. I was talking about on the weekly here how I think that 1.618 would be a fib level to watch, and sure enough got rejected. And when it got rejected, things are going a lot lower. People thought that you're gonna have to fill this gap down here around 280 or so, or get to the next level here 1.272. And I was like, no, you're probably gonna getting support here on 1.44. Sure enough, it did just that, right? Right now it's hovering around. Right now it's cooling down. Right now Bollinger Band is no longer being overextended. Right now it's kept back inside the upper Bollinger Band. The lower Bollinger Band continue to expand. So this turns to be like maybe there's some bullish continuation here. I do think that it's going to break through the 1.618. Most likely it's going to go to 2 or 2.272, right? Either 1,300 or 2,400, somewhere around there. I do think that might be the potentially cycle ender here. Would it go all the way up to 5,000? I don't know. It's a bull trend. The weekly is starting to build a bull trend. On the monthly, it's still a bull trend. On the monthly, the lower Bollinger Band is still pointing down. So there's no big reason for me to say, oh, this is definitely ending, right? Now, in February 2021, you can say the same thing. It is pointing down still, and that was really a big exhaustion candle. Is the same thing happening now like it did back over here in February 2021? The answer is no one knows. The only thing about this candle over here that is a little bit different from over here is that you really have a big giant wick above, and you have a closed candle way outside the upper Bollinger Band. So far, we're not really having that. I think if you're saying that this candle could potentially be very similar to this candle over here, maybe, right? I'm gonna pull up the Ichimoku cloud here. I think there's a little bit of difference between this area here versus this area here. The biggest difference between this area here and this area here, and this is a 3-month chart of MicroStrategy, by the way. The reason why I think there's a difference here and here is because you have the Tenkan Kijun push up right to this point, but it's serving as resistance. You have a big giant wick above, but it couldn't get above the Tenkan Kijun, right? And it couldn't get above the Tenkan Kijun for an entire year. And when it couldn't do that, it got rejected and had to come back test the 3-month cloud. Right now, what did happen? It flipped this resistance level over here at the Tenkan Kijun from resistance over here to support, right? When that happens, we just flip that from resistance to support. It looks like it probably going to have some further bullish continuation and kind of go up a lot higher. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. So that's why I think that most likely MicroStrategy would keep going. I think MicroStrategy is probably going to hit some of the targets up here above. But it's got to do this consolidating thing. Like, you can't just go up in a straight line. You have to let the Bollinger Band cool down. You have to do what is necessary to sustain a bull trend, and that's what MicroStrategy is doing. It went all the way up to 1.600 because that's going to be what the level is going to gravitate to if you break the 1.414, and you're going to get rejected because a lot of traders are going to say, oh, 1.618, take profits. A lot of them do that. A lot of them did it. And next thing you know, they're trying to find a little area to buy, and they're like, we're going to buy back down here at the gap fill on the weekly, whatever. They're going to buy back down here at 1.272, whatever. They're going to buy it back down at the support band, whatever. We may not get there. It's a bull trend. Coinbase. What do I think about Coinbase? I think Coinbase looked extremely bullish to me. It did break down to 0.886, which is annoying. Initially it would have been nice if we're able to kind of flip the 0.6686 from resistance over here to support. We had a big green candle that pushed all the way up here, but you have a little bit of inside candle this week. Unfortunate. Guess what though? It's a low volume inside candle. I think it doesn't matter. It just wanted to maybe backtest the angle up here again. And it backtests the arc here again. Again, initially you had a little bit of false breakout here, the arc. Now you bring back below the arc here. What's next week going to bring? Right now you're still about this arc. So next week, depending on where it opens, if it opens directly like that, then it'll be underneath the angle, underneath the top arc over here. But if it opens above of that, this is a very, very much of a confluent zone, right? At the arc and angle, and also right next to a very important foot level here, 0.86. Most likely it's going to bounce above, or if it goes down, it's going to end up finding some spring down here, ends up going up, because I think there's a lot of demand down here too. There was a lot of supply over here that got absorbed by this green candle over here. This is a back test, right? So we'll see whether or not this confluence of support zone over here is going to end up being support to propel price up a lot higher. I think that Coinbase is getting close to being done with this consolidation move, and once it's done with this kind of consolidation move, it could explode upwards to the next arc up here, which is going to be around 500-600, and the next fib level naturally it would go to is probably going to be around like the 800s. It could also go beyond. It could go to the 1.414. It can go up a lot higher to 1.618 here. There is a possibility that it can make an 8x and get to 1.618 to end the cycle and break my Gann square. It's possible, right? But if you're talking about the upside risk and downside risk, I think we're at a lot of support level. Downside risk is going to be the arc back down here below, around 230. Sorry, not 230, around 260. It's going to be around this arc here, around 260. If it breaks below that, you're going to find a very, very strong support level here at the 0.786, which is around 245. Right? Do I think it has to get down there? No, I don't think it has to get down there. Go through a couple of things here real quick. Clean Spark. What's going on with Clean Spark? Ah, man, everybody's so scared. Why are they so scared? I don't know. Like, none of this makes any sense. I think people just get really bullish on Bitcoin and think that, you know, everything else has to follow it. You mind Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up. Why are you going down? The answer is because when Bitcoin was just going up, you know, like 4 or 5x, Clean Spark just kind of went parabolic, and it just decided to go like, you know, all the way from $1.40 all the way up to like 25. No, not $1.40, $1.80 all the way up to like $25, right? It basically just made like a 13-14x when Bitcoin just went up like 4x, right? So it needed to cool down, needed to solve its technicals, it needed to do what it needs to do on some pretty important volume here, with increasing volume here during this uptrend of higher highs and higher lows. When you're going down declining volume here on the daily. Now this is a lot more apparent if you look at the weekly chart here. If you're talking about going down, you have declining volume, consolidating sideways here, declining volume. This really looks like reaccumulation. A lot of wicks down below, found support, push up, right, on increasing volume. It does tell me that there is interest coming in, but the interest is coming in too slow for people to get really extremely frustrated. I don't know. Like, this is a bullish chart to me. I don't like higher highs and higher lows, cup and handle. Everything looks bullish to me. Bull run support band is also being reclaimed, right? Initially we lost it, was able to break back underneath of it and break through that, and right now we did multiple back tests, and right now it's back tested the bottom part of the bull run support band, right? Not really that bearish. You have a Bollinger Band squeeze here because price gone sideways for the entire year 2024, did nothing in 2024. So Bollinger Band squeeze. Last time when you squeeze, went down below. This time when you squeeze, is it going to go down or is it going to go up? Well, last time it's a little bit of a different story because you're talking about a lot of wicks up here above. You're hitting a lot of resistance level up here, unfortunately, from the monthly Ichimoku cloud, right? There's a lot of resistance up here. Was not able to hold, break down. Now you're coming back. It's a comeback hit trying to break through the bottom Ichimoku cloud, right? And then while it's doing that, if you look at the weekly chart here, what is it doing? It's trying to form higher highs and higher lows to get back to the level, right? So short term here, over the last 3, 4, 5 months is a bull trend. There's no denying that this is a bull trend, right? And right now, you are having another Bollinger Band squeeze here. Last time it was a parabolic bull trend that looks exhausted. Came back down, back test some things that it needed to back test. For example, you needed to come back and back test to 0.5, which is what it did. And it went back up and pushed through to 0.618, came back down, back test to 0.618, had a breakdown, right? But it decided to go down and grab liquidity. What can I say? Regardless, this is still a short-term bull trend, and the Bollinger Band is squeezing, and it's getting everybody all scared over here. The sentiment is absolutely horrible, by the way. There's a lot of difference between here versus here. Here, people are still holding on to hope. Here, sentiment's gone. So I don't know. There's just a lot of things that are kind of telling me that I shouldn't be scared. There are a lot of things that are telling me that I think CleanSpark is going to do okay. It's fighting its demons, but it's okay. Like, it's different from it's fighting different demons from Bitcoin. And once it's done fighting its demon, it can really soar in a crazy way. But it just needs to work out its technicals. 21 moving average is going up, finding support, bull trend, right? Like, there's really not much to really say about CleanSpark, because I really don't think that the cycle for Bitcoin's over yet. And usually, look at these miners, they lag Bitcoin by weeks and weeks and weeks at a time. I had another video kind of telling you that they lag Bitcoin by weeks and weeks and weeks at a time. So far, same thing when it comes to Mara. Mara's fighting his own demons too, by the way. Like, all of these charts are kind of fighting their own demons, more or less. Mara has a hard time, let me see here. Yeah, Mara has a hard time trying to break above the 0.618 here for a very long time, right? Had a little bit of false breakout here, but was not able to do that. The issue with Mara too was that it also went a lot higher, went from $3 all the way up to like 34, 35, went like 11x when Bitcoin went just 4x, right? Or 5x, right? That's a problem, and it's just correcting sideways ever since. I lined up the chart for Mara and Bitcoin on the last cycle, and when Bitcoin was going up and up and up and up and was making all-time high, all-time high, all-time high, Mara was doing nothing over here. Can you imagine? Everybody's like, oh, it's bullish, let's buy up here. And after about 3 months, the sentiment probably just completely destroyed, right? Bitcoin's going up, what's going on with Mara? Nothing. For several weeks, when Bitcoin's just going boom, 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 nothing, right? Eventually, you have some candles trying to break above this horizontal resistance here, and it spanned about a couple of weeks over here. And once you're able to break through after 3 weeks of this wick, it just went parabolic after that. What are we having right now? Are we having a very similar morphology as we did during last cycle, except that it's just lasting a lot longer? Could this peak over here be very similar to these parabolic peak over here, where sentiment was extremely euphoric? Could this going downhill over here be very similar to this downhill over here, even though it took a lot longer this cycle to form this little bit of a cup here? Could this area over here be the consolidation that it needed before it breaks out a lot higher? All of those are very, very good questions, right? I do not know the answer to that. All I know is that if it breaks down, it goes to $11. If it breaks up, it goes to $41, right? And the other thing too that's very important about it is that it also is fighting its demon, just like how CleanSpark is trying to fight its Ichimoku Cloud demon. Mara is fighting its Ichimoku Cloud demon here as well, right? And if it breaks through the cloud, you're going to also get resistance up here around $41.28, which is confluent at the top of the Ichimoku Cloud. So it's fighting its demon, but if it pushes through this level, oh man, sky's the limit, right? You talk about some of the higher targets here, but like we're underneath resistance. Let's just build up enough energy for an entire year, get well rested, set up your fort, set up your fortifications, and then battle, right? That's kind of what I'm seeing here. Now, Bitfarms fighting its own different set of demons here. Bitfarms is really, really, really trying to break about this Gann arc over here for the entire year, and has not been able to do so. so far ended up closing the week right at the 0.5 foot level, right as the support right here, right? And it's sandwiched between resistance and support. I don't know which one's going to win. All I know is that during the entire trend down here was on declining volume. Nobody gave a crap about bit farms. Right now, nobody really gave a crap about bit farms, really. It's just been going sideways. It's done nothing over the last 3 months with increasing volume. This is very interesting. It's done nothing for 3 months with increasing volume. It's been bouncing right at support here at 0.5, and it's been trying to challenge the arc up here for the last few weeks. What does it all mean? What does it all mean? I don't know what it all means. All I know is a big move is coming. All I know is a big move is coming because Bollinger Band is squeezing hard on the weekly. It's squeezing hard on the weekly. Are you going to pick a direction? We end up closing underneath the Bollinger support band. We end up closing underneath the 20-week moving average. This means it's going to go down to like less than single digits, right? Whenever you have a big move, I don't know, right? Well, let's get some clue from a higher time frame. Take out the Bollinger support band. What is it doing right now? The month is not over yet, but there are a lot of wicks down here below, right? It's trying to break down, it's not able to. The 20 moving average is rising. So far, you have all these wicks down below. Right now, this current price action right here is also underneath the 20-month moving average, but this could also turn out to be just a wick, right? It looks like it wants to continue to serve as support and push up higher, but there's no guarantee. Some people would say, oh, it's challenging us so many times, it's going to pick fruit. But like a lot of wicks down here is actually potentially a great thing for technical analysis. It just means that there's a lot of support over here, a lot of demand down here. And all of this stuff is happening on increasing volume, by the way. So to me, I'm leaning bullish. And also, if you look at the Ichimoku on the monthly, you see it's underneath the Tenkan Nikkei resistance. You're like, no. You look at Supaichi, all it's telling you is it's stuck in a range, is at the bottom of the range, right? That's all it's doing. Like when things are at the bottom of the range, you're supposed to get a little bit more bullish if you're a trader, because it's stuck in a range for a whole year. It's got a lot of wicks down underneath below. I don't think it's a bearish chart based on these higher time frame indicators. I just wish that I have more confirmation, because things are just kind of going sideways for so long that it could go either direction. But I think the higher time frame stuff is telling me that it's going to go higher. What demon is CIFR fighting? The CIFR demon is the 0.786. It's stuck between 0.786 and the gain level over here for the last month and a half. And there is a lot of support down here. I actually thought that CIFR is going to break down and hit this angle and arc over here, because it's been trying to push for 0.76 for so long. It looks like there's enough wicks down here below for me to feel confident that I think this is going to end up being broken. I just don't know whether or not it wants to go to this angle over here to use that as support before pushing it higher. I don't know. Maybe it comes back down to this arc here and backtest like $5, whatever it wants to do. I don't care. It's higher high and higher low, right? That's all I really care about, is higher high and higher low. On the way going up, it was on increasing volume. On the way sideways consolidating, it's on decreasing volume, right at resistance. I feel pretty good about it. I have a position I'm going to keep holding. I'm not adding anymore. I made a video, I think sometime like early in the year, in 2024. I said that anything that's under $5 is probably a good buy. And yeah, anything under $5 is a good buy. You know, so if you would have bought down here during this downtrend over here, that would have been extremely bullish, and it would have made you a lot of money. So yeah, I mean, I was buying some down here, but like I was already kind of loading the entire way. I'm not going to buy CIFR anymore. But I think that CIFR is a bullish chart because it clearly broke above this Gann arc over here, and it's clearly trying to push to 0.76. We'll see whether or not it can do that soon. If it couldn't, it might come back down, back test some stuff before going higher. But right now it's just stuck in range, it's fighting its own demon. Right? That's why sometimes when Bitcoin goes up, like, why aren't miners going up? Well, because they're fighting their own demons. That there are some supply above. Maybe the shorts are still there, actively trying to push price down, and maybe that's what I'm seeing here on technicals. But like that happened last cycle too, right? IREN, what kind of demon is it fighting? It's fighting both the 0.786 demon, just like CIFR. It's also fighting this arc up here. If it's able to break this arc, it's going to go up to the next arc, right? The next arc is like all the way up in like $44, $45, right? It may not be ready yet. If it's able to break through 0.786, it could potentially go up to the 1.236, right, which is around $61. It's not ready to do that quite just yet. It's fighting its demons. It's at resistance, as expected, right? WULF, what kind of demon is it fighting? It's fighting the 0.618 fit level. It's still fighting it. It had a little bit of a falling three, you know, down 1, 2, 3, not able to break through 0.618. Had a falling three, bearish engulfing, right? You might end up starting the week underneath here below a little bit. Doesn't have to come back all the way down to the arc here around like 5.8, something like that. I don't think so. I think TeraWolf is still a bullish chart. If you're able to zoom out, you can see that it is bullish, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Higher high, everybody euphoric. Higher low, everybody scared. It's a bull trend and is forming a bull flag. It is stuck underneath a very important Fibonacci level. On top of that, a lot of these charts too are also fighting the Bollinger Band on the monthly, the Bollinger Band demon. TeraWolf just got really, really excited and it decided to whoop, right? But you cannot just whoop without having the blood flow. And the blood flow is the upper Bollinger Band expansion. If you don't have blood flow, you're not going to go whoop, you're going to go yeah, right? A lot of them are fighting a similar demon. CIFR is fighting the same demon. It couldn't push back too far up above because the upper Bollinger Band is not expanded yet, right? It's starting to. IREN is fighting the same demon. It's waiting for the upper Bollinger Band to expand, right? These are all bull trends, by the way, right? Bitfarms, a little bit of a different story, is trying to hang on to the 20-month moving average. Mara actually tried to push the upper Bollinger Band last month. Was not able to do that. So far, you got what, like a meaningless inside candle. You have this big volume over here. It's probably going to be having some bullish continuation. It's just waiting for Bollinger expansion. What does it get scared about, right? Clean spark, 20-month moving average, right? It's probably going to gravitate up here to the upper Bollinger Bands, like around $21. It's probably going to get up there because that's just nature, right? Bull trend tends to gravitate to the upper Bollinger Band. Bear trend tends to gravitate to the lower Bollinger Band. So, WULF is fighting this demon. 0.618 and the monthly upper Bollinger Band. BTBT, is it fighting the upper Bollinger Band? Yes, it is. It's waiting for it to expand, right? What other demons is BTBT facing? Well, it's very clear that it's trying to break above a horizontal zone over here at the GAN level that's been trying to push through for the entire year and a half. It's so far unable to do so, but we're building up a lot more energy as we did compared over here. We just kind of went parabolic, got rejected, parabolic, we got rejected. Here we're kind of taking our time, building up more energy with more volume coming in on this uptrend, trying to break through this level. If we're able to break through, where's it going to go? 0.618. If we're able to break through that, where's it going to go? The arc up here and the 0.786. It was able to break through that. 0.886 the final loss, around $20. All this can happen within months, by the way. And then after that, it might end the cycle either at 0.786 or 0.886 and never make an all-time high. Or it can push through these levels and get up to the next level, which is 1.236, around $87. I'm crazy. Or it doesn't get there and I'm like hitting the arc up here, which may be like 30, 40 bucks. I think because of this volume and because of the uptrend on volume, I think it's going to do okay. Let me just put it that way. And also, if you're looking at the monthly chart, with the monthly 20-month moving average growing up like this and the upper Bollinger Band expanding up like that, I think BTP is going to do okay. Look at how nice this 1, 2, 3 candle was rolling up with this big giant volume. Right, increased volume on uptrend, meh volume on down, increased volume uptrend, meh volume on down. Bullish. CORZ. I don't have anything to say to you, CORZ. Like you don't have enough for me to chart for me to say anything. It's a bullish chart. It keeps on looking exhausted, but it keeps on looking like it wants to go up higher. All I have to say about CORZ is it's finding resistance where it's supposed to find resistance. Even CORZ have demons. CORZ demon is right at the GAN level over here. It's finding support here at the angle. I'm not sure if the angle holds, by the way. It could come back down to back test the horizontal level over here around 13, 14 bucks. before further bullish continuation, right? But if the angle holds, it makes a little bit of a wedge over here and it can go up a lot higher after that, right? But it's fighting its own demon. RIOT is the demon. RIOT is the demon. The thing about RIOT, the interesting thing about RIOT is that unlike, and you can feel the pulse too recently, unlike all the other miners, RIOT actually have something special going for it. RIOT actually looks like it's trying to get above a lot of resistance here. It is above the 0.382, which is a very, very strong resistance level or strong support level, depending on how you look at it. It also broke through this Gann arc over here and back tested the Gann arc over here, right? And it pushed through the Gann arc and also back tested the Gann arc here again twice, right? Pushed through the 0.382, was rejected here, pushed through that, back tested it multiple times, lots of wicks down or below. Huge volume. Huge volume. So I think it wants to go up higher. I think it wants to double. And we'll see what happens when it doubles, because at the end, if it ends up going to like 23, then you're talking about, oh, things are at resistance, be cautious, all that. But that's not what's happening right now. I actually think that RIOT is maybe ready to kind of run up a little bit in the short term. And that's not a bad thing. Ichimoku Cloud's reclaiming that too here on the weekly. It's trying to push through it. Got rejected over here, but a lot of wicks underneath below. It doesn't want to fall underneath the weekly Ichimoku Cloud. Did it fall underneath of that? Now it's flipping it from resistance here to support, right? Both the Tengen Kijun, blue line, red line over here are also resistance, flipping the support here. So RIOT actually looks pretty good. HUD 8, oh man, HUD 8's amazing. I don't like, this is absolutely insane chart. It broke through a very, very strong horizontal level, and right now is forming an upward flag. There's a strong possibility that it comes back down to 20 bucks and close the gap down here on the weekly. There's a strong possibility of it doing that, but it doesn't have to, because there's all the uptrend over here was supported by volume. It doesn't have to. Is HUD 8 fighting any demons right now? Yes, it is. It's fighting the Bollinger Band demons, expanding though. But it's probably going to get stalled here over the next, couple weeks, just because it's fighting demons. What about fib level? Is it fighting any fib level demons? Well, let's pull up the chart here and see. This also looks pretty amazing compared to the other miners, right? You remember how I was talking about how RIOT was a little bit special because it got over the 0.382. Well, HUD 8 got over the Gann angle over here where it got rejected here multiple times, and also got above the 0.618. He was able to hold these levels, probably go into the 40s. If it breaks down, probably come back and break down close to get around 20, and that would be a very bullish area to reload. It's a hold for me. I'm not holding any HUD 8, but if I was, I would just hold. I wouldn't buy, I wouldn't sell, because I don't know. I would want to come up with a plan. If it goes up to 40s, don't buy. For sure, maybe even sell for some people. If it breaks down and trying to close the gap here around 20, that's a buy, right? HIVE. HIVE is fighting the 0.382 demon, is fighting the arc demon here as well. It's also fighting a horizontal Gann level demon over here as well, around 5 bucks. A lot of demons that it's fighting. But the fact is, I think it's coming to the end of the line here. I think it has to make a decision one way or another. Pretty soon, the decision is probably going to be upwards. Because it's reclaiming of 20 moving average from negative sloping to resistance to a flat to positive sloping support. BTDR is positive. This thing is just insane and wants to just keep going up higher. I don't really have anything to say about BTDR at this point. I can try to do a Fibonacci level. It might be relatively meaningless, but I can do a Fibonacci level and tell you that, yeah, it's at resistance right now, right? On the weekly, it is fighting a 1.36 resistance level and again arc over here, right? So it's fighting its own demons, a little bit overextended. I wouldn't buy BTDR. If it ends up keep on pushing up higher, then so be it. but it's at risk for breaking down and is at risk for coming back down to the arc down here, back at some of the levels. It could keep going up higher, but I just wouldn't chase it. I do have one request for a miner that I normally don't talk too much about, which is a member request, which is DGHost technology. DGHost technology has done nothing. It has done absolutely nothing since January of 2023. It's done nothing for 2 years. If you're asking for a fit level, I mean, I don't even know what to tell you. It's just oscillating around the 0.382. It's been trendless, done absolutely jack for the last 2 years. What is that going to do to the Bollinger Band? It's going to squeeze it like is lemon, right? And as the process of squeezing it like lemon, it did a couple of things. One thing is it did come back test the lower Bollinger Band, passed. Great. Okay, it's squeezing and wants to pick a direction. It had a false breakdown. Was not able to break down. And the next thing you know, just say that's a fake out going back up, which is happening on increasing volume, by the way. You know why this didn't break down? Because it was on declining volume. This whole downturn is declining volume. This is the false move. This is the real move. This is the volume move. We are reclaiming the 20-month moving average from resistance to support. It's done absolutely jack for 2 years. Monthly Bollinger Band squeezing. All it takes just a little bit more volume come in and push the price up higher. The next resistance is 0.618. Resistance after 0.786. After you break through these, you might break the cycle high over here. It doesn't have to break all-time highs for you to make money from DGHost. It's still a little bit trendless. It could still be at risk for breaking down, which is the reason why I am not in DGHost. But high risk, high reward. If it breaks down, it could potentially lose you half your money to the lower Bollinger Band. Again, it's entirely possible. If there's no volume coming in, it just decide to push the price back down on low volume, it could do that. You can lose 50% of your money over the next few months, or you can make 5x over the next 6 months to 12 months. That's also a possibility. If it breaks through that, then you're talking about potentially 20x. That's your risk level. Lose half your money or potentially make 20x. There's no guarantee because there's a lot of resistance over here and over here, but I do think probably minimally it wants to gradually back up to 0.618, which is $3.30. Anyway, all of this is speculation. Why do I think that 0.618 is a magnet here is because it served as support throughout the entire year of 2021. I think it probably wants to test it as resistance for a little bit before going up higher, right? And that could happen for a few months. But there's, that's what I'm saying, over the next 6 months or so, I see it hitting 0.618. I also see it hitting 0.7862 over the next 6 months, right? And next thing you know, maybe it's just decided to go crazy and just go up to some of the higher levels or above. There's no guarantee. But all I can say is that it is a bet and it favors the bulls. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much for listening to me for another 40-minute video. You guys are insane, by the way. If you listen to this point, I want to thank you for your support. And you guys have a wonderful weekend.